Welcome to Meet Me at the Deli, a food advice podcast where the pickles and slaw are always free. I'm Liz.
And I'm Jeffrey. Every episode we're answering your burning food and culinary questions, and we're sharing our stories and insights from years working in the industry and living in our self-made shtetl.
All right, so Jeffrey, Friday, you were supposed to join me at our friend's house, and you couldn't go last minute, but I need to tell you, you really missed out. You missed out on a treat, a culinary delight.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so our friend Irene, who is an elder of ours, a scholar, she's originally from Australia. Really, we know her from all of these professional circles we've been in. She had invited us over for tea and something called Marillin knödel.
Ooh.
And what this was, which was in an email that she sent us, but I did not look it up. I didn't know what it was.
Okay.
And went to her house. You've been to this beautiful home. Beautiful day in New York
on the Upper West Side, paint the picture, yeah.
You know, beautiful, beautiful. And she is preparing this dish. And this dish was essentially this dough, and it can be either made of cheese or potato and like flour, like a dumpling.
Knödel,
Yep. And then what you do is you wrap it around an apricot. And it could also be plum, if it's plum season.
Dried or fresh? A fresh apricot?
Well, she had used ones that she had canned.
Okay. Ooh.
So there's no pit, obviously, but
yeah.
she had used ones that they're canned, like it's wet.
Okay.
It's not dried. So it could be fresh, or it could be the one, she had canned it from last season. Okay, so that's not it. You're not just like, oh, here's a dumpling with an apricot. Mm-hmm. You boil it like a matzo ball, or like a dumpling, really. And then you roll it in breadcrumbs cooked in butter and brown sugar. And it comes out and it's hot, and you cut it open, and it's like this apricot just like oozing out. And I had really never had anything quite like it.
Wow.
And I want to show you a picture of what it looks like here.
Ooh.
Look at that.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So you can see we've got this beautiful dumpling, like it almost looks like a matzo ball, But then it's sweet because you can tell that it's covered in sugar and these breadcrumbs, and there's a beautiful orange center.
It looks almost like the Scotch egg-ish,
Yes.
but like a sweet version of a Scotch egg.
Yes. And I will tell you that we spent the better 3/4 of an hour talking about how to make this dish. So that's what you missed on Friday, and gosh. I will make it for you soon.
The funny thing about this is like knödel, the German dumpling, it's knädel, the knädlach, which is the Yiddish name for matzo balls.
Yeah.
Matzo balls are just a matzah version of a knödel, and it's just something that it annoys me that like we weren't taught this growing up. I'm like, when I went to Germany and ate all these amazing different types of dumplings, I kept on being like, wait, I'm just eating matzo balls, but they're potato, or they're sweet and they're in sugar, and so I just kind of feel like we were robbed of the potential for so many wonderful dumplings.
Well, I've got amazing news.
What?
You don't need to be deprived anymore.
Okay.
You are an adult man, and you will make these dumplings however you want.
So I can get over my rage.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe like it's time to change the script. But I'm really excited, and I think also we can make them together.
Fair.
I really paid attention to how to do it.
I'm excited. I'm excited. Okay, well, I wanted to share with you, I've been thinking about this experience I had. I was at a restaurant in California. I was at Rustic Canyon, which is like a really nice, very, very seasonal farm-to-table restaurant. And do you know this experience when you are sort of known for something, you're an expert? So, for example, like you are known for...
for example.
So gefilte fish, right? And then someone serves a gefilte fish and tells you a very specific thing about gefilte fish, and you're expected to know. Like they expect that you know that. So I was at this restaurant, and the waiter brings this pickle plate and says, "These are pickles in the Ohio style," and leaves. And everyone turns to me.
Like the state?
Yeah, the state. Everyone turns to me, and I'm like, and we're all
and
like,
you're in California.
And we're all just like, yeah, Ohio style. And then like 5 minutes in.
And you, being a pickle expert, are the one that should be like, oh, Ohio style, like that extra dash of cumin that makes it fresh from Ohio.
Yeah, so I do the nod of like, yeah. But then like 5 minutes in, I kind of turn to everyone. They bring these pickles. I'm eating them. I'm like, And these are just like, they're kind of like a standard, like maybe like almost like a giardiniera, like it's like.
But you're sure it's not like a word in another language?
I'm pretty sure, because I
Just checking
specifically, once I talked to the table and I said to everyone, does anyone else know Ohio style? And everyone acknowledged that they do not. And I was like, okay, we need to find out more. So we bring the waiter over.
Oh my
And I was like,
gosh.
can you speak to this Ohio style pickle? And then he's like, well, the chef, it's he brought it over, and I'm going to find out more details. He goes to the back, comes back, and then he's like, it's there's oil in the brine. It's like part oil, part vinegar brine,
Sure.
half and half. And so, so I've been sitting with this, and then we have a friend, chef Jeremy Umansky in Ohio, and who's a pickler, and so I wrote to him. I was like, Jeremy, do you know what this is?
Yeah,
And
that
then
was a good thing to do.
And he said, I've never heard of Ohio-style pickles. And he happened to know the chef of this restaurant, or who used to work there.
Nice.
And he spent maybe a few years or like some months in Ohio, maybe.
He's not even from Ohio.
But I described what I had eaten. This pickle that it was vinegar, a little bit of oil in it. It was kind of a medley of vegetables, of cauliflower and carrots, and it tasted kind of like a standard Mediterranean pickle, And he said, he thinks it's actually an Amish pickle, and he thinks the chef was just referencing this Ohio-ness. But it was just one of those experiences where I was like, I really like. It's just such a funny. It doesn't really exist an Ohio-style pickle, but I was led to believe that I missed some critical pickle information.
Yeah.
And I was sort of on this hunt to find it out. So I thought you might appreciate this journey that I went on.
I do. I do appreciate that. I also love the sort of like moment of embarrassment that you had to experience, because we've all been there, where there's like an assumption that you know something and you don't know the thing. And I also appreciate that Jeremy was the perfect person to call about this, because sometimes you need to phone a friend, which is what we do here on our show.
Liz, that was a fantastic segue.
Hey, we've got an amazing guest coming in today. We'll bring her on in just a second. Shannon Sarna, celebrated cookbook author of multiple cookbooks, amazing cooking teacher. She is what is her official title?
She's the chief of staff at Razza, which is one of the best pizza places, I'd say, in the country.
Oh my God. The last time we went there, we were treated to a real feast. It was so good. I would also say Shannon is funny, no pressure, and very knowledgeable about Jewish cooking. So I am excited to have her on to handle some of the questions that we are facing today. But in the meantime, I wanted to just shout out another show that I love so much.
Let's do it.
Because if you like our show, you will love the Heeb Podcast Network's other podcast, Yenta. Yenta is hosted by comedians Ray Schiller and Antonia Lassar. One grew up Orthodox, one grew up Reform. Now they're both queer and comedians and just kind of annoying about it,
They bring on their funniest comedian friends, rabbis, and exes, and they share secrets that you're not supposed to hear at great personal cost.
Yeah.
It's like you're listening to your bubbies gossiping at synagogue, if they were also gay and deeply online.
So check out Yenta, brought to you by the Heeb Media Podcast Network. Sometimes comedy, sometimes Judaism, always gossip. Love you, Yenta. All right.
Okay.
Are we ready to do it?
Let's bring Shannon on.
Okay, so Shannon, get on here. Come on in.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
We're so happy you're here.
Blushing from that intro. That was just lovely and true, right?
Well, Shannon, something that you shared with us in preparation for this show was that you once got kicked out of Harold's Deli in Edison, New Jersey. Now, I'd like to take a minute to talk about Harold's in Edison, because it really feels worthy of this podcast, as we're all laughing. We all know what Harold's is, and you're all about to know. And would love to hear why you got kicked out.
So
I have theories.
I had assumed that you had been to Harold's.
Yes,
having
we
grown up.
all been to
went to
Harold's.
Harold's
You've been to
together.
Harold's. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
so glad. The punchline, the best part of the story is that I can claim that I got kicked out of a Jewish deli, right? Which feels really on brand. It's a little bit of a sad story, really, but basically early on when I was editor of the Nosher, I came across Harold's, right? Which is like gargantuan proportions of deli food, right? Like the sandwiches are this big and they're the size of your head.
It's like the Disneyland of Jewish deli. Like they want you to have that experience.
Yeah.
Like eggs are like 13 omelets are 13 egg omelet, right?
Meant to be shared, right?
Yes,
it really
yes,
leans into the
yes.
communal aspect
Yes.
of deli eating.
Yeah.
And there's an entire pickle bar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, which is like, it's really
It's famous for that.
So good. So I find out about Harold's and I was like, well, this feels like fantastic visual storytelling, and we were really leaning into like videos at the time. And I was
the Nosher.
At the Nosher.
Well, what is the Nosher? Can we explain?
Sure. So the Nosher was my first baby. It's a website dedicated entirely to telling the story of Jewish food. It was started about, I want to say 14, 15 years ago.
Oh, it really was your first baby.
It was my first baby.
Aw.
Yeah, I was pregnant with my oldest daughter when we started it.
Wow.
And it's part of the 70 Faces Media group. So it was like Facebook Prime at that time. We were putting out a lot of videos. I was like, well, this feels like video, right? Like absolutely big sandwiches, huge matzo ball soup, pickle bar. Yes.
Totally.
So I just started making some phone calls, trying to, get on the phone with the owner, Harold, to say, I want to come and make a video about your deli. And he hung up the phone on me. So I tried again. And I don't know, I must kind of have a sweet, nice, slightly annoying Jewish lady voice. But I was like, okay, I'm going to get back on the phone with him. Right, I'm going to convince him. Hangs up again on me. Okay. It's only 30 minutes away from where I'm living in Jersey City. At the time, I was like, I'm not going to get in the car. Who is going to say no to this face, right? Like, when you're 4'10" and like a cute little Jewish lady, you get said yes a lot to. So I was like, they're not going to say no. I'm just going to show up. Long story short, not only did he say no, but he told the woman at the front desk that if I kept staying there, that they were going to call the police on me. And I got kicked out of Harold's.
Oh, Shannon.
And I was really worried about going back. But I did. I did go back.
And you didn't video.
I did in video.
They didn't recognize you.
I figured
They didn't have your photo at the front that said, "Do not serve."
We did look. But also, short Jewish ladies with dark hair also all kind of look the same, right? So I figured
and there's
I would just blend
a bunch
in.
in New Jersey.
There's a bunch in New Jersey, right?
Totally.
We do have these fantastic photos of my middle daughter, Billy, on the table laying next to the matzo ball soup, because as big as she was as a baby at 4 months is as big as the matzo balls were.
Wow.
And Harold died last year.
Oh, wow. We didn't know that. Thank you for
Yeah.
telling us.
So it means I can show my face again at Harold's, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if either of you know this, but I have been kicked out of a deli also.
But your story is probably better than mine.
I can't say that mine. Do you know? But I don't know if I've ever shared this.
Yeah, I know.
What deli?
You going to say it?
Should I say it? I don't know.
Just say it.
Okay. Well, it was the pastrami queen on the Upper East Side.
What were you doing on the Upper East Side?
That's the question.
Question starts
Why were you
there.
on the Upper East
This
Side?
was, I don't know, 8 years ago, and it's a very small deli. There's only four top deli. Okay, and so
There's nothing. There's no seats.
And I was there, and I had friends with me from Montreal who had just desperately wanted to go to a Jewish deli because they're not Jewish, but I've talked about Jewish deli a lot. I visited Montreal. They were so excited, and we take them, and there's 4 seats, all empty, and we go and sit in one seat. And there's the person who worked there. I've seen him a bunch. I don't know. I don't think he's connected to ownership. He probably doesn't work there anymore. He was just a manager. And we sat at this one seat because there was a TV showing a hockey game on, right behind another one, and the other ones were the less ideal. This was the only good seat.
And they're Canadian, so they watch hockey?
They were not interested in the hockey, actually. They just had no interest. So I sit there, and then this guy comes over, and he just says, "Move there," and points to the other table, right at the TV. And then there's no one else in the restaurant. It's just us. And he was just so rude. And then I say, "Excuse me, can you tell us why you'd like us to move?" And he just said it again, "Move there." I was just like, "Excuse me, could you, maybe be a bit more respectful when you ask us?" And then he's like, and he just kind of got very upset. And he's just like, "Get out." And then we're just like,
this is a Seinfeld episode.
yeah, and we're just I was shocked. I'm like in.
You're like, bro.
I'm literally.
Why are you
I'm
coming in so hot, man?
I'm in synagogue here. I'm in the secular synagogue. I'm at home, and here's this guy, and it was like, what are you?
So
okay,
weird.
and then we are walking in. And as we're walking in, I'm like, "Excuse me, sir. I work in food and hospitality. This is no way to treat people." And then he lunges at me as if he's wants to hit me, and I'm just like, we like walk out. I'm like, I have never experienced that at a restaurant in my life. And my friends were shell-shocked because Canadians are so nice. You know?
Right, they're like, what just happened? And you're like, I don't even know.
And delis are known for bad service, but this was like a different kind of bad. It's
oh my gosh.
And so, and they were so distraught, and I was like, how are we going to save this? But we were on the Upper East Side, and guess what was not far away? The 2nd Avenue Deli.
So
I took them to the 2nd Avenue Deli on like 79th and First over there, and then we sat down, and they were the kindest waitstaff, and they took such good care of us, and it was so cathartic to be there. But I was shocked by how bad that experience was. So
that's like trauma.
It
that's
was.
pastrami trauma.
Somebody was having a bad day, though.
Yeah.
You know, that's clearly what was going on. But like in all the years, nothing like that has ever happened.
Me neither. Me neither. Yeah.
You know what I love at the 2nd Avenue Deli? The wallpaper in the bathroom. Like, if I could, like, wallpaper anything in my house, like, I think I would choose that. It's just this, it's like a toile. It's like a Jewish deli toile.
What is
I
that?
probably have a toile is like it's like an old school, kind of like fancy, repeating pattern, right, that you might see in like a Victorian home or something. And artists have had a lot of real fun with these, I would say, over the last decade. There's like a Brooklyn one with like different landmarks in it, but I'm pretty sure with the 2nd Avenue Deli one, maybe we can find a picture of it, is like newspaper and just like it's like Jewish in your face. I probably have one on my phone too if I bring it up, but it's like Jewish deli toile. I don't know, that's the best way I would describe it.
Okay, very cool. Well, we want to get into questions, and I think it's worth noting we wanted you here because these are questions that are very relevant to home cooking, and you are the author of Modern Jewish Baker and of Jewish Comfort Food. Jewish Comfort Foods?
Yes, Modern Jewish Comfort
Modern Jewish Comfort Foods. And so we wanted you on to help us answer these. So let's get into the first question. I will read this first one, okay?
Okay.
A few years back, I used a hodgepodge of leftovers to make brisket for the high holidays, and my husband said it was the best brisket he ever had and has been asking me to remake it ever since. Can you help me try to recreate it with a basic recipe with tips on what I could add or subtract to try to reverse engineer it? I imagine it had things like ketchup, onions, carrots, and other random condiments on hand. Leora in Berlin.
So this feels like to me, this feels like the kind of question that we do get regularly, where it's like, hey, like, let me give you a minimal amount of information and then go. But the good news is we are people who are uniquely qualified, I think, to talk about brisket formulas. I will just kick it off by saying not so long ago, I advised an acquaintance on brisket, and I was like, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, if you're low and slow, it's going to be okay. You know what I mean? Like I was like, the key thing is like, plan ahead, give yourself the time you need, make it the day before, cool it. Like there is 1,000 formulations, but I was sort of like, that is fundamental to making a good Jewish brisket to me. So that's my first thought. That is not that relevant to the question.
Yeah, could we just go into like what makes a Jewish brisket versus like a Texas brisket, or like this is a particular unique, you know, American Jewish concept here. So I just like, maybe Shannon, you have any insights into that?
I mean, I think what I think of as the formula for like a Jewish American brisket, right, is that it has like aromatics and that it's sort of braised in some sort of liquid. And I think on one hand, I'm like,
right, as opposed to like a barbecued brisket or something.
Right. Like you're not. This is not like a dry brine. You're not smoking it. You're doing it probably in the oven at a low temperature with braising liquid of your choice.
And this is a traditionally tough cut, and you need to slow cook it to make sure that it can be nice and tender. If you, it's not like a nice choice steak. This was not like this was not the meat at the butcher that you know, you're spending top dollar on, at least back then. Now, but briskets are kind of expensive right now.
Yes.
But this used to be, and this is sort of that shared commonality with like the, you know, that Texas brisket. It's like this is that cheaper cut, but you have to do all these things to bring out that texture and those and bring those flavors out. But then the thing is, if you do it really well, it's a phenomenal experience.
I feel like there's sort of like a rubric, right, for brisket, right? Like you're searing it, you're removing it, you're adding your aromatics, whatever that is.
Herbs, whatever.
Dr. Pepper, Coca-Cola.
I'm a soda person myself. I love a good Coca-Cola brisket. My husband's very tomato forward in his
That's where
recipe.
I am. I'm more
tomato
there.
forward.
Yep.
And then you're adding some combination of whatever you're braising in, right? Which is like the soda, the tomatoes, but maybe it's broth, wine, beer. One of my uncles is kind of like a combination of everything. So I feel like my initial reaction to this question is sort of like, what did you have in your fridge at the time? But like carrots, yes. You know, is it like a packet of onion soup mix?
Well, yours in Berlin.
Oh, good point.
So maybe, what do we know about German refrigerators?
Like,
Well,
probably
There's
not
probably some beer. There's probably some beer.
Yeah.
Beer. Right, probably not ketchup.
Ketchup's pretty universal. I don't know.
I don't know. Just feels so American to me.
Probably some nice
But
jam.
she said ketchup. But
She did.
Yeah, nice
she did.
jams. I'm like, I'm thinking about like German. We have a friend who's been really obsessed with using apricot jam in the brisket and using apricot flavors, and so I kind of like maybe there was like some nice, jams from the previous season. The German, Germans are very connected.
I feel like you went like sweet, savory, and like acid. I feel like those are the three things I think about for a brisket, right? And I feel like the American version looks like sometimes like the chili sauce and the onion soup mix, or the soda, right, of some combination, or like soy sauce, or right, like for that savoriness.
Yep. And obviously we need onions. We obviously need onions and garlic. She said that, but I'm just saying, like, let's make sure we recognize that that's an ingredient that feels critical. And what about a potato? I mean, she's putting a potato in there. I'm not saying for flavor, but to cook with it.
I kind of hope not.
Can I challenge the premise? Because, Leora is trying to do what a lot of people are trying to do, which is recreate something that they liked once. But I think that what I love about foods like brisket or some of these foods is that, it is what you have on hand, and every time it can and should be different. And maybe you won't get that same magic, but you never know by looking around and looking in your fridge and finding, and throwing in flavor. It's just putting, what you described is just putting flavor in. So what are the flavor inputs? And each year can be marked, each holiday, by a really exciting new flavor. You had a party and you had all these leftover Hefeweizens. Here I am in this German mode here. Or you had your Pilsners. Or then you had Dr. Brown's Cellrays left over. You didn't know what to do with, and you put through them in there. I just kind of feel like there's something exciting about that. And so I know this desire to recreate, but like maybe it was also that was just a particularly wonderful year and time that you had, with your loved one, and you were trying to recreate that memory,
So, super beautiful. Super beautiful. I think the one thing I'll say is, like, a brisket's a big, expensive cut. So, not everybody feels as free to just throw it in.
Yeah.
However, I think Shannon laid it out. Like, you sear the thing, you put the aromatics, you put the liquid, and, like, let's go. Sounds to me, Leora, like you kind of already know what you did. Like, I kind of think you know, and I think maybe what's missing is us just saying, just do that again. Like, it's
And write it down.
Write it down.
Write it down, girl.
And look around, because there's probably something like that.
Yeah.
Let's get to the next question. This is something that I thought would be relevant for you, Shannon. You have traveled the country doing Jewish food. I know you love connecting with Jewish communities across the country. I know that's like something that is very meaningful to you. It's very meaningful to us. We too have traveled to communities small and large. So this question comes from Bonnie in Denver. What Jewish delis / deli-inspired restaurants would you recommend outside of major urban centers? Any in the mid or southwest that you can recommend? We would be remiss if we didn't mention Zingerman's in Ann Arbor. Now, in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Yeah.
Now, Zingerman's is the world famous institution. Also has an incredible catalog of goods that they ship all over the country, bake shop, event space. It's a network of businesses, but it is, it's a place that celebrates craftsmanship, and it is not relying on. It doesn't feel old school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Zingerman's is funny because it started as a deli and grew into this community, and love me Zingerman's. It feels more like what Zabar's kind of is, which is more like a gourmet place where you can also get sandwiches.
I think that's
like
fair.
a gourmet shop now.
I think that's fair.
But they, one of the things they're famous for is their bakery. They also have their bakehouse, and then they make that really amazing double crusted rye.
Yeah.
And then you can get these sandwiches, but then you kind of eat them outside or now in the kind of cafe. It's like one of those places that doesn't feel deli, but like it definitely has like real deli bona fides.
Yeah, and you can get a great sandwich there,
Yeah, and Detroit area is corned beef focused more than pastrami.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I got another one.
Wait, no, we gotta go around.
All right, go around.
I'm gonna shout out in Houston.
Man,
well, come on.
no, you can't take that one.
Fine, okay.
That's my favorite.
Okay.
Go for it,
Shannon, you're the guest. You're the guest.
I mean, to me, the Holy Grail, if we can call it a Jewish deli, the Holy Grail to me is Kenny and Ziggy's, right? Was that what you were going to say?
Yeah.
No, I was going to say the other one.
First of all, I love him so much.
Ziggy Gruber, we really want to get you on this show, and we are going to find a way to. Next time you're in New York, no matter what happens, you're on the show. Ziggy Gruber, a legend in the world of the deli man himself.
And the protagonist from the movie Deli Man,
yes.
Which the documentary, that was 2010 or so?
It was a while ago.
Yeah. Wait, so any other, some new places. I'm going to say Cleveland, I'm thinking one of my new favorite delis, and the pickle man himself, the one I messaged about the Ohio pickles, is Jeremy Omansky's Larder in Cleveland.
Thinking of that too.
And what really makes Larder special is he is a fermentation expert. So he's like we're brothers in fermentation, and he specializes in koji. He even wrote a book called Koji Alchemy, a fantastic book about using the mold spore on rice or barley that's used to make misos, these amino pastes. And he essentially uses koji, which is a real critical piece of Japanese food culture, but he uses that and applies it to all the meats and vegetables and every single thing that he serves. And when you add koji to meats, it actually helps them cure faster, and he dry ages them much quicker, and it brings out all these flavors and this extra layer of umami. And he's kind of a mad scientist, and it's more of a sandwich shop. It's not quite a deli. But his pastrami is unbelievable. He serves it on some really wonderful. I'm pretty sure it is a rye bread. I'm trying to reflect back with this, homemade fermented sauerkraut on it, and and then everything else. Every pickle, his sour pickle is actually a sour pickled carrot, lacto fermented, and it's just like everything. It's really inventive. It subverts what we think of as deli. But everything is a flavor bomb.
All right, I have one last one, and then we should move on. We could talk about this all day. I did not get to go here, but recently my beloved partner Shira went to Columbia, Missouri for one night and one night only. I have never been to the state of Missouri. Can't wait to go one day. And it was for a Shabbat thing, and the caterer for the Shabbat dinner was a new bagel shop in town in Columbia called Goldie's Bagels. And apparently the catering was outrageously good. I do not know what the menu was, but it was very good, Jewish, all the traditional, this and that. That's what I got reported, whatever that means to you. But then the next morning, so Shira met the owner of Goldie's and said, I'm married to Gefilte whatever. Now they knew who we were, which was very cute. And then she insisted that Shira go the next day to make sure to bring back some bagels for me. So I did get to have some bagels, and apparently it was a hoppin' spot in
awesome
town.
If you can't find a deli, look for a good bagel. I'm sure it's not that far away.
And there's plenty of places we have not been to in the Midwest and the Southwest.
Absolutely. I'm definitely feeling like a little embarrassed that we didn't have a Southwest.
So if we missed something, email us podcast@gefilteria.com. Let us know what we missed, what we need to try when we're traveling, when we're taking the show on the road.
Or invite Jeffrey and Liz to come out to your community. You will not regret it.
Or send us angry letters that we don't know about, the best deli in Phoenix, because we should know that, and we don't. So let us know. We all mail is good mail.
Let's move on to our third question.
Third and last.
This is from Becca in Los Angeles. It feels like lactose intolerance is pretty standard among American Jews, at least in my experience, with the holiday of Shavuot coming up, it feels particularly cruel to be focused on dairy foods. It just doesn't make sense. Please enlighten me. Any tips besides lactate to make it through the holiday?
Let me just give a little more context here, which is that the tradition for Shavuot is that you stay up all night learning, studying Torah, because we receive the Torah, and the other tradition is eating dairy foods. Seemingly disconnected traditions, I would say. So Jeffrey, let's just give us the dairy rant we've all been waiting for.
Well. First off, so one of the things that when I was growing up in Jewish day school, as Shannon's kids are now experiencing, is you learn all of these explanations for why we eat the foods, the dairy foods. I'm not sure. Do you know these explanations that your kids are learning?
I mean, I may.
Do you help them with their homework?
Do I? Yeah. Yes, but this has not come up yet.
Okay. So one of them is like, it says that.
What are they judgmental?
What are they
like? It feels
teaching
like, are you even paying attention? I am.
Okay.
You're a great mom, Shannon. We swear.
Yes. Don't mean to challenge your motherhood.
Okay, so you learn
so we learned that
these
it says in the Torah, the land of milk and honey, and so therefore we have the milk because we're getting the Torah. We have milk during the holiday. Logical, right? Makes sense. And there's another line like that like there's some connection
like a text reference to dairy that has sparked this tradition of eating dairy.
Yes. And
so they say.
So one of the things that my rant is that I grew up always being given these religious explanations for why we do things, when almost every food tradition comes from a place of there's an abundance of something and then you make a holiday around it. So Hanukkah, for example, there's an abundance of olive oil because it's right around the time when you're first pressing the olives, and then you have olio nuovo festivals throughout Italy still, the new olive harvest, the pressing of the olives. And then, of course, what do you do when you have an abundance of things that aren't yet bottled? You have a festival where you're lighting oil menorahs and you're frying things in oil. So Shavuot. I only learned this when I lived and worked on a farm. And right around Passover time, I actually didn't live on the farm at the time, but I was very connected to the farm. I'd visit. Right around Passover time is when the mother, when they gave birth, like I was working with goats.
It was goats
when
at
the
time.
goat, they gave birth to these kids. And about 6 weeks later, which is around the time Shavuot, it's like, 49 days after you literally count from the beginning of Passover. So around 6 weeks or so later, they wean the kids off the mother's milk so that you can start, milking the mothers and starting to make cheeses and things like that. And so you have an abundance of milk. And so I finally put it together. It's like, oh, this is just a life cycle of milk production. So of course we'd have a holiday centered around cheese. So that's why I learned. That's how I learned why we do this.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, no. I mean, we've done a lot on this topic. So
that was amazing.
That was great.
Also, do we need to answer the question?
Yes. Now let's get to Becca's question. Okay. So then, what do we do? So Becca is pointing out that lactose intolerance feels standard. So it's ironic that there is this tradition of eating dairy, tips around this other than lactate.
I feel like this is an easy one. I don't know, maybe disagree with me.
Yeah.
I feel like just because it's dairy, right? It's like there's those Jews, my husband's one of them, where it's like it's not a meal if there's not meat, right? We're like, just because it's dairy doesn't mean everything has to be like a heavy noodle kugel, right? With like the sour cream and the cottage cheese and the butter. And it doesn't have to be blintzes laden with farmer's cheese, as much as I love farmer's cheese. Like I think you could lean into it being a vegetable forward meal that has healthier, gut-friendly dairy as part of it, without it feeling so like heavy and burdensome for your digestive tract, right? So like, if this was me, I'd be like, oh, I want to steer clear with it. I would do like roasted vegetables over labna, right? Like labna or like Greek yogurt, right? Like so people who are lactose intolerant can handle certain kinds of dairy better than others, right?
Right.
Like a Greek yogurt, like a Parmesan cheese. I don't know the science behind it. It's like
No. Lactose intolerant people, of course.
Like where even goat milk, goat cheese is like more friendly
Yes.
for your gut than
cow.
Right. So I wouldn't make.
Right. It's like the standard thing is like a slice of cheesecake.
Yeah.
And you're like,
That's so
maybe
heavy.
just
That
don't
doesn't
do
feel
that.
good.
That
That
doesn't feel good. I'm
honestly,
not even lactose intolerant. I can barely eat cheesecake.
I ate cheesecake a few weeks ago. I felt terrible.
Yeah.
It's
not the thing.
also the American cheesecake. It's all cream cheese, like Philadelphia cream cheese cheesecake.
I know, so
no,
heavy duty.
I would say have a European, more of a German style cheesecake with the Quark, or like the, so it's a little bit lighter, or with a farmer's cheese, it's much airier. It doesn't feel as bad.
There's an Israeli style cheesecake also made with labna that I've seen, and you can also make blintzes without cheese. Like you can
you can put a little sour cream on top to honor the dairy, but
or like a fruit blintz, right?
And dare I say, there are many vegans and the people who are allergic to dairy who now enjoy so many dairy alternatives, and you have like all these. At least in New York City, we have multiple plant-based cheese shops where you can get just plant-based cheeses.
Such good plant-based cheese.
Honestly, I don't love some of the plant-based cheeses, but I find like the homemade cashew ricotta to be fantastic. Make a little ricotta cheesecake. So I think that there are some interesting options, and I think the rant you expected me to make was that because we, as American Jews, started eating, only pasteurized dairy, we stopped eating all that cultured dairy that you referenced, Shannon. We kind of changed our microbiome, stopped eating all these fermented foods, and then therefore we do struggle to digest dairy. In fact, I thought that I was lactose intolerant for my entire childhood until I moved on to that farm and was eating fresh goat dairy that was raw, and I was eating nonstop pickles and sauerkraut, and I felt great, my gut. And so I think some of that might also just be like spend some time prepping your microbiome, start drinking kombucha,
But also, like, how do you work that into the meal, right? Like that. I would say, like, how can you add some of those lacto-fermented foods, like, into the menu for that time, so that it's just like a natural part of it, like.
See, that's short-term, Shannon. I'm here talking like six-week prep program. Okay, a pickle.
The second Passover, you start counting the Omer. You get on a microbiome.
Sorry.
A pickle a day.
Yeah.
Okay, and then get your stomach ready for this. Okay.
I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. I love that. I also just think, in general, like, one of the lessons I think that we've all learned as we have become adult people who are as deeply in Jewish food as we are is that, like, we can make whatever choices we need to make. So we can be in a holiday that is dairy, but it doesn't mean we need to like do the formula of the cheesecake and the blintzes and the sour cream. Like we can do it how we want to do it, like the menus that you're suggesting, and that's great. It doesn't make you less Jewish. It doesn't make you like not celebrating Shavuot. I mean, you celebrate however you want. Study all night. I don't know, and eat like milk chocolate. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like it's like whatever.
I was thinking chips and guac.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I
happen to personally love milk chocolate, so.
Interesting.
Truth.
Okay, we'll ignore that one.
So that's why I went there. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so Becca,
All
thank
right,
you for the
thank you.
question. And really appreciate that. Okay, so I do think it's time we made it to our Kvetch Kvel share segment.
Yeah.
Our final segment here, where we're sliding into the vinyl seats at the deli booth, so we each get the chance to kvel or kvetch about food we've been thinking about, something that maybe we ate, or something we brought to share with each other. And we're going to set a timer because we can go for too long on this, so for 5 minutes. And actually, Shannon, we also want to invite you if you have anything to share or kvetch or kvel about.
I mean, like, have we even met? Yeah, of course. We've got something to kvetch or kvel about. Absolutely,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, I'd love to kick it off if I could, because I've brought us something to eat, and maybe we could all use a snack. You know what I mean? Okay, so this is brief. I do not need my full time. I brought two really unrelated to each other at all foods that I saw, and I thought, I just want to share these on the podcast. So the first item I have brought is this bag of matzo granola from the farmer's market that I saw. And I have never seen this before. I've heard of making this, but I've certainly never seen it for sale, let alone at the Union Square Farmers Market. I saw it and I was like, well, I must bring this to Jeffrey on the podcast. It was just a couple days ago. We are not in Passover season right now. So I was intrigued that it's still around, but I was excited to share this, and I also was like, is this going to be good? So we've got a bag. It looks like the matzah has really risen to the top here, and there are raisins.
Hold it up to the camera.
Yep.
You can really see those pieces of
The chunky
matzah,
pieces.
yeah.
There's also some definite flax seeds going on, have sort of gone to the bottom.
If I was a guessing person, I would be like, someone saw some leftover boxes of matzah that someone donated to a food pantry or something and was like, we can do something with this.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I respect that.
I do too.
What's the nut situation there?
Jeffrey.
No, I
Cashew?
I can do cashew.
Okay,
yeah.
you can do cashew?
I've got some nut allergies.
I can't do cashews.
Oh, no.
It's okay. It's all right.
Shannon.
can't
That's
do-
why I
I-
brought 2 snacks.
I can't do pistachios
And me
or
neither.
hazelnuts.
I can't do pistachios.
Or
Oh, my
macadamia
God,
nuts.
guys. All right.
Oh, that's so sad. That's a lot of nut. That's
Those
a lot
are
of
some
nuts.
good ones.
That's a good
Matzah,
one.
almond, walnut, coconut, flaxseed, cashew, olive oil, maple syrup, raisins, cinnamon, ginger.
So,
I can eat around. I can.
let's not go into anaphylaxis over the matzo granola.
But I will say, I agree that this was clearly we have extra matzah, and if it's good, I'm going to use the leftover matzah I still have at my house for Passover and do this too. Don't mess with yourself there.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's really giving matzah.
it's very matzo forward.
There's a lot of matzah.
Listen, I would say this is lovely, but I don't think you need to go out of your way to make this.
Okay.
I feel like I need a palate cleanser.
Well, don't worry, I got it. The other item I brought, actually someone brought it to me.
Oh, I've seen these, but I haven't tasted them.
These are sour power straws, pickle flavor.
Ooh.
Gummy sour straws, pickle flavor. They were a gift from someone else who was like, I saw these, and I just really needed you to have them. And I was like, well, obviously I'm saving them tomorrow to bring to the podcast. So
I don't know if you know, but I'm a sucker for sour gummy things. And I actually, you may not know this because I
don't
often
know this.
avoid them because my teeth always hurt so much from them. But I love these. These are really pungently pickly.
they're really pickly.
What are the yellow? Are they the same?
Wow.
So we've got green and yellow straws. What with like this, crystal powder there? What is are they the same flavor, just different colors?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out.
I
think
feel like
they're-
the smell is more pickly than the taste.
Yeah,
Yeah, it tastes like the apple ones.
but it smells pickly. Huh.
Yeah, I want it to be more pickly.
I'm not mad about this.
There's a dill aftertaste which I'm getting, which I am liking.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
I am liking the dill aftertaste.
Dill is really one of my favorite smells too. So
Yeah. Well, in case you're wondering if there's any dill in the ingredients list, there's not.
I'm sure it says natural flavor.
Yeah, natural flavors. Yeah, there's also wheat in here. So anyway, these were made in the Netherlands.
These are good. I would buy these.
I think these are really good. We can eat them all. And these were just my little snacks that felt relevant to this community. So that's all I got, folks. Enjoy.
And this is good. I'm a fan. Okay, I'm going to go. And so I wanted to shake things up. I have a kvel. So I'm usually a kvetcher myself, Shannon. But I wanted to bring a kvel. So I wanted to bring a little bit of praise, a little nod. So, family, it brings with it layers of complexity and all of these different things. And yet I had a few really sweet family things, all related to Deli and Jewish food stuff that I just wanted to share. Oh. So yesterday,
How unusual.
I'm taking out my phone because yesterday, my father sent me, Sunday, my father sends me a text. I took screenshots, and he just sent me a picture of a knish stand at a Florida farmer's market. He lives in Florida.
Oh, Brooklyn Knish. It's a sign at a little pop-up booth at the farmer's market.
I want to see what are the
Yeah, Shannon wants to zoom in.
I'm like, what's the shape? Is it round? Is it square? What's happening?
It says Brooklyn Knish, and I happen to have been in his area of West Coast Florida. He lives near Sarasota, St. Pete's, and I had been to the St. Pete's farmers market where I saw the Brooklyn Knish, and I wrote St. Pete's farmers market. He just sent me that photo, and then I said I saw the booth there. He said Lakewood Ranch. So they go to multiple farmers markets, a Brooklyn
Nice.
knish place. And he said, "Did you try one?" I say, "No, they didn't look that exciting. And I wasn't like looking for a knish experience on my like one Florida morning, you know." And he's like, "Agreed." And then I asked if he tried one. He said, and then he wrote to me that they looked overcooked. And he said, "My favorite is still cherry cheese. Do they still have them in New York?" And so I told him they have it at Yonah Schimmel still, and most places are really into like the most. Yonah Schimmel's is the classic knish bakery on the Lower East Side on Houston, right near Russ and Daughters and Katz's, and it's been around for over 100 years. And so I said that they still have them there, and he wrote, "I remember them at Yonah's too. The cherry cheese knish was a classic favorite of mine. I had them there too." He said, "After Katz's lunch, off to Yonah Schimmel's for dessert."
Oh my gosh.
He said, "Perfect lunch. Corned beef on top, tongue, less fat." What is
This is a real boomer dad text.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's my dad's deli order also.
Really?
Corned beef and tongue. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was this like sweet thing, and like the
It's super sweet.
and of him sharing, and then he wrote, so perfect lunch, corned beef or top tongue, less fat, on seedless rye. I disagree with him on that, and a Dr. Brown's, and then and he wrote top tip, not top tip tongue, and then he wrote New York coleslaw and half sours. And what's funny about this is that when we posted our episode and there was the whole Dr. Brown stuff, my father like chimed in and it was just like his favorites are cream soda and black cherry, and I'm like, and I had this memory. I'm like, "Dad, are you kidding me?" I got into the biggest fight with him once because he came home and didn't bring. Well, when I was a kid, I liked cream soda and root beer. He only came home with two liter bottles of Dr. Brown's celery, and I'm like a 10-year-old. I'm like, "Celery soda? This is all you brought? You didn't buy any of the other flavors?" I yelled at him. And only years later, when I finally was introduced to Dr. Brown's celery seed soda, celery, I literally called him up and I apologized. I said, "Dad, I'm so sorry. I didn't know." And so he revealed to me, and I disagree with his order, and it speaks to some of the ways we disagree. A half sour pickle? No. A full sour pickle. A tongue sandwich, a pastrami sandwich. Seedless, right? No, give me the seeds. And yet, I owe...
Wait, was this a kvel or a kvetch?
Right, now
is life just a mix of kvelling and kvetching?
We're on the line.
But the point is, what I appreciate with this, he introduced to me not just the deli, but strong deli preferences.
Yeah.
And so much of my interest in all of this stuff that we do and talk about comes from like his passion for this. Like this is the text. He just sends me a photo of a Brooklyn knish stand at the farmers market in Florida, and we have a deli back and forth. So. And so I thought you'd appreciate that. So I wanted to bring in a moment of appreciation.
I love it. And you know what? I know, having cooked with you for so many years and worked with you for so many years, that the seeds that your dad planted in you have truly grown. Your love for deli sprouts from those experiences you had with him. So it's nice to reconnect with that.
Thank you. So Shannon.
Kvel or kvetch.
Yeah, what do you got?
I had a very nice food thing happen today. I drove down to Monmouth County, New Jersey to meet with my boss, which sometimes happen when it's a better place for us to connect. And after we were done meeting, I needed to grab some lunch before I popped back to pick up my kids and of course, eventually make my way here. And I went to this place called, I don't even remember, Bell something. And it's like a big space that's like co-working and just shops and restaurants. And I'm walking and I want to just find something to eat. And I stumbled across a miznon. And I was like, "I'm sorry, what?"
What is miznon?
Miznon is an Israeli pita shop started by chef Eyal Shani, and they're known for their like stuffed pita sandwiches. It's like very fluffy pita and sort of like kind of innovative fillings inside. There's one here in New York City in Chelsea Market, and it's also the place where sort of like a whole roasted cauliflower was kind of pioneered.
Oh, right.
Eyal Shani is known for his like very vegetable forward cooking. So this was like a meat restaurant. The one in New York City is a mix.
Because they're kosher, so some of them are meat restaurants, and some are not kosher.
Yeah, there's both non-kosher outposts and kosher locations. So I've eaten at a variety of them, including I've eaten at the kosher one in Paris. I've eaten at a number of other locations. I've eaten the one in Chelsea Market, and I stumbled upon this kosher one in this random kind of like co-working mall weird space in New Jersey, and it was actually the best miznon I've ever had, and I had a really great like a rotisserie chicken tahina za'atar pita today, just in the middle of my day.
Very nice.
Beautiful. Love Akvel. Love all the positivity today, everybody.
It's very unlike me. So.
Tell me about it. Okay, well, Liz, I think we did it.
I think we did it. So we want to remind everybody, again, to send your emails to the Gefilteria Instagram or email podcast@gefilteria.com or use the form in this episode description. We want your questions. Thank you so much, Shannon, for joining us. Shannon Sarna, what a treat to spend time with you and talk Jewish food. We could do it all day. This show was produced by Felicia Reich, who, it's true, is from Florida.
Thank you to Heeb Media, an independent media nonprofit producing original web series, podcasts, and live events that showcase the best of today's subversive Jewish culture. Check out their membership if you want to support independent Jewish media now. And tell people about the show.
Yes.
It's the best way for us to grow, to get the word out, encourage friends and family members to subscribe, to get your dose of Deli and all these Jewish food conversations that we love to have. And share the clips that are up at the Heeb Media and Gefilteria Instagrams.
So take our answers out into your life and bring us back the leftovers. Thanks.
This has been a Heeb Media podcast.
Hey listeners, Liz here. So excited to invite you to a festival at the Museum of Jewish Heritage in New York City on Sunday, May 31st. It's an all-day festival called Mishpacha Festival, which means family, and I will be giving a talk all about Eastern European Jewish foodways at 11 a.m. Tickets to the festival are totally free. There's also art exhibits, films, activities, crafts, so much going on all day. So hope to see you there. Join us at the Museum of Jewish Heritage on May 31st. You can get tickets at gefilteria.com.